Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Good Guy, Bad Guy podcast. I'm Ron Poniewasz, the resident bad guy, joined by Larry Kelly, the good guy of the group. He is a member of the Luxembourg, Garvett, Kelly, and George law firm. He's also a former Shenango varsity baseball coach, former assistant basketball coach on Ralph Lundo's Newcastle boys basketball team, former basketball coach for Holy Redeemer, and a current baseball coach, assistant baseball coach under Carmen Nacera's direction for Penn State Shenango. Larry Kelly, welcome back. It's good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, nice seeing you. We had a nice victory today. We beat Penn State Beaver today. We were behind 3-2 in the bottom of the sixth, and we put up a 5 spot to go ahead 7-3 and end up winning the game. So it's getting down to crunch time, but the boys are playing well.
Wow, it's hard to believe getting down to crunch time, and it's only middle of April, but that's how spring sports go at the high school and collegiate level.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, at the end of April, you're in the playoffs. So
Right. Okay, and before we start, the Good Guy, Bad Guy podcast can be found on Spotify or on YouTube by searching the Newcastle News page. Just look for Newcastle News, and Larry Kelly and myself will come up on any of our videos. Facebook and Twitter, or as the current people will call it, X. And this week we are going to have a few segments. First one will be we'll talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates, the current state of the Buccos, as well as the recent passing of Phil Garner, who was a staple on the 1979 World Series championship team. We will also talk about the upcoming NFL draft, which is rapidly approaching. It's next week. It'll be down in Pittsburgh, and we'll talk about the draft as well as the Pittsburgh Steelers. What are their plans? And then we'll wrap it up with the Masters, which was last week. So first off, Larry, Phil Garner died on Saturday at 76 years of age from complications of pancreatic cancer. He was, he's not a Hall of Famer in terms of a Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, but he was a heck of a Pirate for sure. Great major leaguer. He was tough. He was gritty. He was scrap iron. And he was a lifetime 260 batting average, 109 home runs, 738 RBIs. And he also managed in the major leagues. And he was 985 and 1,054. Larry, your thoughts on Phil Garner?
well, his nickname says it all, and it was given to him by Willie Stargell, Scrap Iron.
Mm-hmm.
He was a tough dude, and he hit when it counted, Ronnie.
Mm-hmm.
In the NLCS in '79, he hit 417, and then in the World Series, he hit 500. I played baseball my whole life, and I never kept a batting average. If you asked me what I hit, I didn't know. The only time I kept a batting average is when the playoffs started, whether it was Little League, Pony League, American Legion, college ball, or all of the adult leagues I played in, because I believe that that's when it really counts. And Phil Garner, he hit when it really counted. And he was very instrumental in the Pirates World Series run. And he was also a classy guy. As you recall, it's been several years ago now, when the All-Star game was in Pittsburgh, he was the manager of the National League team. And do you remember what he did?
Yeah, he brought on Chuck Tanner as a coach. I am actually writing a column that is going to run in probably the Thursday edition regarding that. It was 20 years ago, 2006, that he asked Chuck Tanner to be on his staff, and I interviewed Phil Garner right outside the batting cage on Monday night prior to the home run derby at PNC Park, and you could tell, as I wrote in the column, he just lit up like a Christmas tree when asked about Chuck Tanner, because he had such great love and respect for Chuck Tanner.
Everybody that's ever been in contact with Chuck Tanner loved him.
Mm-hmm.
I was writing for the Newcastle News in '77 and '78, and I think I told this story. I cover in a game. It was the game of the week, back when there was only one game on Saturday that was being broadcast. And Tony Kubek is there, and Joe Garagiola, and all of the national media are there. And they were playing the Phillies that day. And the press conference after the game used to be in the manager's office, not like it is today.
Right.
So we're all in there, and Chuck makes his opening statement, and then he opens it up for questions. And somebody from like Newsweek or something is about to ask a question, and Chuck Tanner says, no, the first question is his. And he pointed right at me, Ronnie. I about died. I about died. I don't remember exactly what I asked him, but that was Chuck Tanner. He was a Newcastle guy. Like, I call myself a Newcastle guy. No, I don't think so. Chuck Tanner was a Newcastle guy through and through.
Yeah, for sure. And wouldn't you just love to have seen somebody like Barry Bonds hit even a fraction of what Phil Garner did in the playoffs? I think the Pirates would have went to at least 2 World Series.
It would have been different. It would have been. And I'm going to tell you who else hit in the playoffs. And go look. Not only did Willie Stargell hit in the playoffs, Willie was the MVP of the NLCS and the World Series in '79, but Dave Parker hit too when it counted. Parker hit, Stargell hit, and Phil Garner hit. I mean, yeah, when the chips were down, and as I like to say, the pressure gets so high you can't spit, those guys came through.
Yeah, Roberto Clemente hit in the playoffs too.
Oh, yeah, you think so? 414 in the '71 World Series, he was the MVP.
Hit safely in every World Series game too.
Yeah, 14 games. He was, for the young guys that are watching this, go watch the highlights of the '71 World Series and watch some of the things Roberto Clemente did in that series. It was spectacular, to say the least.
Yeah, so, I grew up, marveling at Pete Rose, from an opposing team standpoint, because he played the game, the right way and hustled. But that's how Phil Garner played too. He always had a dirty uniform, would run out every ground ball. Today's athletes, they look like they're out for a Sunday jog on a play to first, and he dives for all the balls in the hole and that kind of thing. So, he played really hard. He was gritty too.
Scrap iron. When Willie Stargell gives you the nickname Scrap Iron, that says all you need to know about the type of player he was. He was a big game player, and he was a classy guy, as is evidenced by what he did for Chuck Tanner 20 years ago in the All-Star game.
Yeah, that was such a great gesture, and that was one of my first questions to him. I don't know if anybody else probably put that 2 and 2 together. I would hope they did. I was one of the first questions to be asked of Phil Garner, and like I say, he just lit up and talked really freely about Chuck Tanner, the man, the manager, who he is, even outside of baseball, all that sort of thing. And it was, he had a chance to do something good, and he did.
And he did it. Yeah. What made Chuck Tanner great is, he said, there is no book. Everybody says what the book in baseball tells you to do this, this, and this. But Chuck thought outside of the box. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. A couple of the things. He made Goose Gossage a relief pitcher, and Goose Gossage went to the Hall of Fame. He was a starting pitcher before he came to the Pirates. He let John Milner hit against Tug McGraw to take away the what was that pitch he used to throw? The one he used to dive away from righties, the screwball, and Milner hits a grand slam to win the game. He kept Matt the Scat Alexander on the playoff roster because he could steal bases. Yeah. I mean, Chuck thought outside of the box. And how about when he put Kent Tekulve, he put Teak in left field against the Giants because he brought in a lefty to pitch to a left-handed hitter, and they hit the fly ball to him, and he caught it. You got to love Chuck Tanner. He was one of one. He belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and the shame of Phil Garner is, as we mentioned, the 1979 World Series championship, it probably takes 3 or 4 names before you get to Phil Garner, and that shouldn't be because of his batting in the NLCS and the World Series. You have Willie Stargell, rightfully so, with the big home run in Game 7. You have Kent Tekulve closing out games. There's other guys, and then you get to Phil Garner. It's like, that's how good they were, but yet he should be somewhere in the conversation, right up there with Pops and the Rubber Band Man.
He had 500 in the World Series, Ronnie. 500 in the World Series. Unfortunately, when Barry Bonds was in Pittsburgh, he hit about 150. And, there's the difference. There's the difference. So, but yeah, Phil Gardner, may he rest in peace. Scrap iron. He was a tough dude and obviously a classy man. And, people that are of our age will remember him fondly as a Pittsburgh Pirate.
Yeah. Great baseball card, too, if you're a baseball card collector, Larry. And if you're not, look it up. 1978 Topps. Phil Garner was batting, and it looks like he's hitting a long fly ball, and you could see Chuck Tanner in the background getting pretty excited about it. It's a really great trading card, great action card of Phil Garner. It's one that I probably have a ton of, from my youth growing up collecting.
Right. Well, maybe you can give me one. I mean, show a little class. You understand, Poniewash? We're talking about Phil Garner and how much class he had. I'm a lot older than you. Show a little class, you know what I mean, to an old guy. And if you have more than one, send one my way.
Well, first of all, I've got to find them first. That's the big key.
All right. Well, I still have my baseball cards. I got some classics. I got some good ones. I do. Probably worth a few bucks. I have a few nice ones. Yes.
Well, we might have to talk about that sometime on a podcast. Baseball card collecting.
Oh no, I got some good ones. My grandmother owned a grocery store when I was a kid, and she sold candy. And I used to buy for a penny. You could buy a baseball card with a stick of gum in it, and for 5 cents they gave you five. So I got some classics. I got some 1960 Mickey Mantles. I got early Roberto Clementes. Yeah, I got some good ones.
Good. And to wrap up, Phil Garner, rest in peace. He is gone at the age of 76. A great Pirate. Phil
Absolutely.
Garner.
Absolutely.
Now we're going to transition to the Pittsburgh Pirates currently, and they are 10-6 right now, and they're currently playing Washington at PNC Park. It's 5-4 in the bottom of the seventh. They were down 5-1. Again, 10-6. Larry, that's great. They're in first place. Apparently the buzz isn't totally around them because there's a lot of empty seats every night, and sometimes people will say, oh, it's 30 degrees or it's Easter Sunday. Monday night was a really nice night. You had Paul Skeens pitching, and it looked like maybe an Indianapolis Indians type crowd.
Well, the crowds pick up in Pittsburgh. They don't get the big crowds until school's out. I mean, it's just the way it's always been. But look, there's something to be excited here. And it starts and stops on the mound. And the pitching has been really, really good. The starting pitching has really been good. A lot of quality starts. Mitch Keller had a tough one today. He gave up 5 runs in 4 innings. That's the first game this year that he hasn't pitched really, really well, lights out. And they're hitting the ball, Ronnie. I mean, they're hitting the ball. Now, this isn't, I don't think, going to last. I mean, O'Neal Cruz, his OPS, on base percentage and slugging percentage, is over 1,000.
Yeah.
It's not going to stay that way. Brandon Lau is over 1,000. Brian Reynolds is 900. Ryan O'Hearn is 900. It's not going to stay that way, but they have some professional hitters in this lineup. Brandon Lau and Ryan O'Hearn, and that's adding some protection for Brian Reynolds. Brian Reynolds, he was the only guy that could beat you last year, and teams know what they're doing, and they want to let him beat you. Hence, they pitched around him all year. So, look, I like what we see here. And look, Marcell Ozuna is hitting 109. He's not going to hit 109 for the season. This guy was an RBI machine his entire career. And Connor Griffin, he's hitting 167. That kid needs to get his feet wet. And once he does, I think he's going to be a force in that lineup. So if you're a Pirate fan, for the first time in a long time, you can be excited. But it starts and ends on the mound, Ronnie. And when you can come at them, with Paul Skeens, the best pitcher in baseball, Mitch Keller is a major league pitcher. Braxton Ashcroft, that kid's giving them a quality start every time out. And then there's my guy. Go ahead, say it. Mojinski, say it.
Armin Majinski.
Marginski. He's been pitching well. The only guy that's a little bit out of sorts is Bubba Chandler because he's walking guys. But hey, look, I like what I see. How about you?
Well, there's two aspects of the team, two areas of the team that I have highlighted, and you kind of touched on one of them. Two of them that are just very deficient, that need a lot of help. The one that you touched on was Marcell Ozuna. Coming into tonight, he was 3 for 43. Tonight, he's 2 for 3. So he's basically he's equaled his season hitting almost in one night. So he went from a 0.70 batting average to, as you mentioned, 109. That's terrible. That's got to improve. And in our season preview episode, we talked about him. And I told you that he's got to play well because he replaced Andrew McCutchen. And McCutchen is so beloved in Pittsburgh. If you don't hit, they're going to boo you. And that's got to pick up. Now, everybody goes through slumps. That's guaranteed. It's not anything new. So let's hope that 3 for 43 turns into maybe a 10 for 19 stretch or something.
The kid isn't going to hit 100 the whole year. As I said, in his entire career, he's been an RBI machine. Just look at the back of the baseball card. This guy has it's like looking at the form on a racehorse. This guy has pedigree, and I believe he's going to hit. He's not going to hit 100 the whole year. It's just not going to happen. And look, it's like Jack Zarenzik told me one time when Jack, he's a Newcastle guy. He was the general manager of the Seattle Mariners. And, when Jack was running the team, I had the MLB package. I would follow him. And, guy would have a good 2 or 3 weeks, like O'Neill Cruz. And I would say, Jack, man, you got a real winner here. This guy's really good. And he would say, Larry, hold on, buddy. Anybody in the major leagues could do it for a month. The great ones do it for 6 months.
Right.
So that's where we're at with O'Neill Cruz. He's had a great month. And like I said, his OPS is over 1,000. But at the same time, the season is 6 months long. And Marcell Ozuna is not going to hit 100 the whole year. So
the other key component that I said needs work, the bullpen has just been absolutely horrific. They've got to move on from Jose. I'm not even sure how you pronounce Urquidy. I'm like you with pronunciations apparently now. Urquidy.
Urquidy, yeah, right, yeah.
He's 0-1 with an 8.53 ERA. He's got a save. And Monday night he was abysmal, and they were ahead 15-1. And next thing you know, it's 15-5 because he just got lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, again, it's a long season, Ronnie. It's a long season. And, there's going to be ups and downs. It's 162 games. It's 6 months. If you think you can, they wanted to trade and bench O'Neill Cruz after the first game of the season. How do you like him now? Right? How do you like him now? So, right, this guy's going through a slump. Ozuna's going through a slump. But look at the back of their baseball card. This guy also has a little pedigree. So let's give him a chance to find himself. That's where we're at here.
We all know there's an advantage to being the home team, to playing at home. And at LGKG, we have been your home team for personal injury cases involving automobile accidents and workers' compensation claims for over 90 years. At LGKG, over 10,000 clients have trusted us to represent them. We know how to present your case to a Western Pennsylvania jury. We know what makes them tick. We know how to win.
Hi, I'm Cody W. Patterson, and I'm a sports reporter for the Newcastle News. And you can find all of our coverage, local sports to national sports, at ncnewsonline.com. Or if you have a question and you'd like to reach out to the sports department, you can call us at 724-654-6651, and the sports extension is 117. That's 117.
We're back with you here on Good Guy, Bad Guy Sports, and we are going to tell you all about the Masters, which was held last week at Augusta National. Beautiful golf course. Boy, I'd love to play at Augusta National. They wouldn't be even on the grounds, if they knew how poor of a golfer I was, but I love to play the game, Larry.
Well, you should do yourself a favor if you haven't done this. Is even Ronnie and Larry are never going to play Augusta National. But if you're lucky enough to get a ticket to even go to the practice round, you really can't appreciate the terrain and the topography of the golf course unless you're there. And I've been fortunate. I've been there 3 times.
Wow.
Just to walk the golf course, to see the topography, like number 18 on TV, you can't tell that it's like going up a mountain. That's how steep that hill is on 18. And, even number 1, you just can't, the greens, the undulation on those greens are unbelievable. Until you see it yourself, you really can't appreciate it. It is if there's a more beautiful venue to play golf, I haven't seen it. That's for sure.
Probably the most beautiful course I've played is Oakmont Country Club.
Oakmont Country Club, pretty special. Yeah, I've been there a few times. Yeah, really nice. But doesn't have the same beauty.
Right.
It has the same history and the same pedigree as Augusta National. But the beauty of the Georgia pines and the azaleas and just the place is pristine and everything about it. It's just different. It's different. And I think if you were to ask the pros, there's 4 majors: the Masters, the U.S. Open, the PGA, and the British Open. Mm-hmm. Which one they want to win the most? I think to a man, they would say the Masters. They would. It's the lifetime invitation. If you win, there's something special about it, man. And it's quite an event.
Yeah, I played in a media event at the Oakmont Country Club. That's how I got to play in it. What a course. Very difficult, very challenging. That's why it's a U.S. Open course. But before we elaborate too much on that, let's talk about the Masters. Rory McIlroy goes back-to-back, -12. Larry, going into the weekend, he was -12 with a 6-shot lead. Did you feel that he was going to be a runaway champion?
No, because too many things can happen at Augusta National. I mean, you can make a 10 on number 15, and the I think it was Lee. He made a 10 on 15. It can happen. There are so many traps for the unwary. Let me tell you something about Rory McIlroy, which I really, if you watched it on Sunday, he makes a double bogey on 4 and misses about a 1.5 to 2-foot putt for his bogey and misses it, makes a double bogey. Then he proceeds to make a bogey on 6. And he goes from having a 6-shot lead on the weekend to being down 3 shots after 6 holes on Sunday. And I just said to myself, he's done. He's going to crumble here. I mean, I figure it was over for him. The fact that he was able to maintain and come back and win that tournament and end up birdieing a couple holes. I think he ends up birdieing 7 and 8. Mm-hmm. Then he birdies 13 and 14 on the backside. Man, the mental toughness of this guy is special, because I thought he was done after number 6 on Sunday. He's 3 shots back after having a 6-shot lead.
Scotty Scheffler did not have a bogey in the final 36 holes. He was 12 shots back entering Saturday. He looked like he was out of it, and he basically, now here's the sentiment. People will tell you, you can't win a golf tournament on Thursday, but you sure as hell can lose it on Thursday. And he did everything he could to lose it on Thursday. And going into the weekend, he was 12 back, but he battled right back.
Well, he's the best player in the world. And if you think about it, his putt on 17 was the same putt Jack Nicklaus had in '86 when I think it was Vern Lundquist who said, maybe yes, sir. And when it went in, that putt on 17 that Scheffler hit missed by that much, a quarter of an inch. If that putt goes down and they go to sudden death, I think Scheffler's the winner. I do.
Yeah, I agree
I
with that.
think I think he is. But there's such a fine line between winning and losing. But listen, I have the utmost respect for Rory McIlroy. If you think about last year when he won, when he bogeyed the last hole and had to go into sudden death, and the guy that he was playing against, Justin Rose, on 18, stiffs it, hits it like 8 feet, and Rory McIlroy knocks it right on top of him and knocks it like 5 feet. The guy's mentally tough. Golf can get between your ears, Ronnie. You play it, I play it. Anybody that's ever played it at a high level, which I haven't, will tell you, man, it could get between your ears. And Rory McIlroy showed some mental toughness, not only last year, but especially this year. Can you imagine what he's thinking? He had a 6-shot lead, and now he's 3 behind after 6 holes on Sunday. What's he thinking?
Yeah, to an extent, I will agree with you about having respect for him, for his game, for the golfer that he is. But I lost every ounce of respect for his actions last year at the U.S. Open, smashing tee boxes, just pounding the ground and taking divots when he had bad shots. It's like, you need to be a good example for the young golfers, male and female, that are coming up, that are watching the game. And he was about the poorest example that you could be. And he wants people to root for him. That's not the way to do it.
Well, listen, you never want to be judged by your worst day in life, right, Ronnie? I mean, he's done a lot of really, really nice things in his career. And, to be judged by one event, I'm sure there was probably things in your life that maybe you did that if somebody was watching, or maybe 10 million people were watching, you wouldn't be proud of. I can certainly say, especially in my younger life, when I played sports, I used to get in 2 fights every game, one with the other team and one with my own. It wasn't very becoming. And if I was judged on those events, I'd be judged rather harshly. So, yeah, I agree with you. You're not supposed to do that. Sergio Garcia did the same thing at the Masters last week.
Mm-hmm.
But they're human, and sometimes your emotions get the best of you. These guys aren't robots. They're not. And they're under a microscope constantly. But like I said, this guy is mentally tough. The shot he hit on 12 for a birdie was fabulous. The 2-putt on 13 for a birdie was fabulous after being 3 down on Sunday. To come back and do that, pretty special.
You want to know somebody in golf that can put bad shots behind him and stay on an even keel? It's Brooks Koepka. There's a lot of stories out there on when he was younger, probably on a junior tour or whatever, and things would bother him. Bad putt, wayward tee shot, couldn't get out of the sand. Whatever example you have, it bothered him. But something clicked, whether it was a talking to from a pro or a parent, something, and he just takes it in stride. Probably compartmentalizes it in his brain, and lets him bother him in his brain. But outwardly, no. Brooks Koepka just keeps it all bottled up, and it doesn't let him bother him, and he just goes to the next hole.
I root for him. He was on the Live Tour. He came back. He finished tied for 12th at the Masters, 5 under. So he had a really good showing. I do. I root for Brooks Koepka. I do. I kind of like him. And let me tell you something. He has 3 or 4 majors under his belt. This guy is one of those guys where you might not hear much from him, during a regular PGA Tour event, but in the majors, he's a force. Mm-hmm. He's a force. He has 3 or 4 majors under his belt. But Rory was just special to go back. There's only been 4 guys go back to back at the Masters. Do you know who they are? I'm sure you do.
Rory, Tiger, Jack Nicklaus, and
Nick Faldo.
Okay.
Nick Faldo, 4 Hall of Famers.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's so hard to do. The pressure is enormous, and it's a special golf tournament that really brings out the best in guys, and to be able to withstand that pressure and hit those shots. Yeah, Master Sunday is special, man. I'm glued to the TV.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't watch a lot of PGA Tour events. I may watch a couple holes here and there, but Master Sunday, I'm glued to the TV. I watched all 18 that day.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what happened too much in Pirates games last week, because as soon as it was tea time at the Masters, I was watching golf.
Yeah.
Justin Rose is another guy that I would like to see break through and win a Masters. I believe he's teed it up 21 different times at the Masters. How many times, Larry, do you think he has had the first round lead at the Masters?
Well, I should know this. It's been a bunch, I think, and he's finished second 3 times, losing twice in sudden death.
He's had a first round lead 5 different times, including last year. And as soon as I heard that a few years ago, I've been betting Justin Rose first round leader, and it paid off last year. This year, -5 was the first round lead. He was -4 going to 16. He was 1 shot back. He had a couple of bogeys, finished 3 under. He was right there. He's a guy that you can look at for contention, top 5, top 10, first round lead. At some point, he's going to break through. The one thing you worry about, he's in his mid-40s now, I believe, 45, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and Jack Nicklaus was the oldest to ever win, and he won at age 46. So, but you know, listen, today, like 45 is not what 45 was.
Right.
40 years ago when Jack Nicklaus won at 46. These guys are 12 months a year. They're into fitness and they keep their bodies strong. And I mean, Justin Rose can still win. Listen, he made a run on Sunday. He finished 10 under. He birdied 1, 5, 7, 8, 9. And on the back 9, he birdied 15. He made 3 birdies on the back 9, which normally he doesn't do. My man had our 3 bogeys on the back 9. He normally doesn't do that. He bogeyed 11, 12, and 18, or he was right there also.
Yeah. Now, the one guy that you talked about a little bit ago, Hatong Lee, he was all over the course. It was hole number 13, Larry, that he took a 10 on.
Is that what it was? 10? Yeah, 13.
13. Yeah, he took a 10 on number 13. In 2 consecutive holes, he took a triple bogey and a quintuple bogey, and that's Hatong Lee's scorecard. That's not Ron Poniewasz' scorecard. That's
and he was right there. He was right there. I mean, he was part of the conversation all weekend.
Yep.
That's the thing about Augusta National. It can get you. It can get you, and you can put up a big number if you don't hit a good shot. And you know, like I said, Rory had a couple double bogeys. On Saturday, he had 1 on 11, and on Sunday, he had 1 on 4.
Yeah.
Pros don't make double bogeys, Ronnie. They just don't. I make double bogeys, right? You make double bogeys. They don't. And he made 2 of them and still won the tournament.
I had a legitimate par at Oakmont Country Club. Nobody could.
What hole?
One hole, I made a par.
What hole? Do you remember?
I don't remember what hole it was, but I know I made a lot of bogeys, triple bogeys, what have you. But I had one.
You want to let our listeners know what you shot?
I should know this. I did make a funny joke about it because me and Bob Fusco, the late Bob Fusco, we shot a podcast, a real short segment after, and I said to it, I finished the round +1. And he said, "Okay, now why don't you explain what +1 is?" And I said, "I found one golf ball on the course, so I finished with 1 more golf ball than I started with +1."
I'm telling you, 20 years ago, I played Kenny Lebovi. Yeah, it was media day. It was literally 2 weeks before the Open, the U.S. Open. It's the year that the winner was +4. Okay, the winner. I think it might have been Angel Cabrera, and Tiger finished one shot back, +5. So I'm playing it 2 weeks before. And it was back, Ronnie, when I used to be a pretty good golfer. I was a single-digit handicap. Now, we're talking 20 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I played, and I shot 105. 105. And the caddy, he's looking for a tip at the end of the round. He's keeping my score. He said, Larry, you had a good round. You shot 105. I looked at him. I said, look, my man, you're getting a tip. It's coming. But you should never use the two words good and 105 in the same sentence when you're talking about golf, okay? If you're talking about a chemistry score, you can use those two words in the same sentence and say good, but never in golf. But yeah, I shot 105, Ronnie, and I was a single-digit handicap.
The putt that I made, I had a birdie putt. I was at one extreme end of the green, and the hole was way at the other end of the green. And I wasn't even aiming for the hole. I thought I saw a leaf that was the hole. And I thought, and I'm making a reaction like I wasn't anywhere near. I almost made that. I left it about 2 feet short, somewhere around there, somewhere makeable. And the caddy said, okay, pick it up. You got your par. And Bob Fusco said, no. I know how poor he is at putting. He's got to putt this out.
He made you putt it.
He made me putt it. I drained it dead center, bottom of the barrel. You know,
wow.
You would have thought I was Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore because I was enjoying it. But Haotong Li went from -7 to +1 and out of contention with that triple bogey and quintuple bogey. And I don't know how much you saw of him because the coverage was all over the road, but you can find screenshots of it. He looked like he was on some sort of a secluded island on Gilligan's Island where he was playing. The ball looked like it was in a weed patch or something.
Oh, no, you could make a big number on those holes.
Yeah.
You can. It was, but it was a great tournament. Like I said, on Master Sunday, I'm glued to the TV. My wife knows, don't bother me and don't schedule anything, man. That's like it's the greatest day in golf for the summer. Is Master Sunday, man. It is good stuff.
That's your one victory a year. That's being able to watch the Masters.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one time, I get the control of the remote control at the TV. Yeah.
The next major is coming up. It is the PGA Championship. That is May 14th through May 17th. I kind of like the way they've got it stacked where you got the Masters, you get like a few weeks of a break, and then you get the next one. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I like that. The PGA used to be in August, and it was really an afterthought. Yeah, they stack them together, and then Father's Day is the U.S. Open, and then the third week in July is the British Open, but because of the FedEx Cup, there's some good golf in the fall, and they play that last event, I think, at Hoy Lake in Atlanta. And the winner wins $20 million. So there's a little bit of cash involved there. That's even a lot of money for you, Ronnie.
Yeah. Well, we go from the green jacket last week of Augusta National and the Masters to a plaid jacket this week at the PGA RBC Heritage.
Yeah, not the same, buddy.
Not the same.
It's not the same. They can keep that jacket, right? It's the green one. That's the one you want.
That's right. Larry, anything else you'd like to say regarding our show this week?
No, I listen. Good guy, bad guy sports. You're actually hanging around me is helping you because you're becoming a little more sedate, a little more congenial, a little more. You smile more. You actually laugh, tell a few jokes. So you've come a long way. Just hanging out with me is going to make you a better guy. Pretty soon, this will be good guy sports.
Don't let it get out too much. I don't want my secret to get out, Before we let you go, Good Guy, Bad Guy podcast can be found on Spotify, also on YouTube by searching the Newcastle News page, or on Facebook and Twitter, or if you like to call it X, call it X. But that's where we can be found, and you can enjoy this week's topics or any archive topics that we've had. And got any feedback? Let us know.
Let us know. Right. Let us know. Listen, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I don't think any of them are better than ours. Now, that's a biased opinion, but yeah, I think we hold our own, Ronnie. So we'll see. We'll see how we do.
You think I'm full of bleep? Tell me I'm full of bleep. It won't be the first time.
No, I know that. I know we're not allowed to swear on this podcast, are we? It's family oriented.
Why I say bleep.
Hi, my man. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. As Larry said, we will see you next week.
We all know there's an advantage to playing at home, to being the home team. At LGKG, we've been your home team personal injury attorneys for auto accident and workers' compensation cases for over 90 years. We know what works and how to win. We have all the credentials. At LGKG, we don't take every case. We handpick our clients so that we can give you the attention you deserve.